I wanted to thank everyone who continues to support and donate to my GoFundMe campaign because donations are still going in. So thank you. But please do not hesitate to contribute should you wish to support my work. The link is going to be in the description, so please do check it out. I lived most of my adult as well as my childhood in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is a Muslim majority country. And during my life there, I was able to travel through many other Muslim majority countries in the Middle East, in North Africa, as well as in Asia. Never did I witness, experience, or hear of this phenomena of mass street prayers that seems to be allowed to happen in almost a regular basis in the Western nations, which have opened their borders and allowed mass migration to erode their core. This on top of the mega mosques that I want to say are being built almost in every capital of every Western nation that has done this, opened its borders to mass and allowed mass migration. These mega mosques, which are openly being funded by Islamic dictatorships, which are known to export their Salafist, mostly Wahhabi, radical Islamist ideology to the West via this method. And then they begin sending their radical imams, right, to mark their territories in speaking engagements. When I speak openly about this odd phenomena, the response I tend to get from the good old indoctrinated puppets is that this is the West, and the West enjoys religious freedom. But hang on a second here. Is this how the West is accustomed to celebrating and showing off its secularism or its religious freedom? Do people from various groups of faith congregate together in the first open public space to cause social mayhem and obstruction of traffic on a regular basis? This is what you guys are used to in the West? Like, is this the norm? Or is this the excuse that is being given to people who ask questions because we're supposed to shut up and be silenced and be shamed rather than ask questions? The city that I live in, every year, especially the past 3 years, and it has been getting progressively worse. It gets paralyzed at the end of every Ramadan, where Eid gets celebrated, because one specific group of people is allowed to congregate to the same spot every year that they have chosen with no advance notice to the local community. We can't even go about our day that day. Why? Did you guys know that in Tunisia, praying in the street is banned? And in Egypt, preaching from a storefront mosque is banned during Ramadan? Because during the Arab Spring, these areas and these mosques were sort of taken over, controlled by Salafists and Muslim Brotherhood figures who used these mosques as platforms to broadcast their religious intolerance, their religious radicalism. A spokesman of Egypt's Ministry of Religious Endowments said, "These Arab countries know better than Europe that to contain extremism, it is crucial to control the street." Oh, I forgot to tell you something. You're gonna love this, by the way. Did you guys know that the Egypt's foreign affairs spokesperson for Mohammed Morsi was rescued from jail in the slums of Egypt by none other but your bleeding heart liberal Omar al-Ghabra, and he brought him to Canada. This is very unusual because Khalid al-Qazaz, at that time when Omar al-Ghabra brought him here from Egyptian jails, he wasn't even a Canadian citizen. I wonder how he got to be one. Do you think he got married to someone? Who knows? Maybe that's a topic for another video. And then when this whole thing happened, when Omar al-Ghabra brought Khalid al-Qazaz to Canada, this was at the same time that you guys had 2 Canadians get kidnapped in the Philippines. And Omar al-Ghabra let them rot. They got beheaded. But Khalid al-Qazaz is here. He's a Canadian citizen. And you know what else I'm going to tell you? I'm going to tell you that a few years later, after he rescued him from prison, now you have a Mohammed Morsi government, Khalid al-Qazaz, in your Ontario provincial government. Yep. How does that make you feel? Why then do Western leaders allow this foreign exhibition to occur in their nations on a regular basis? Why? There's a hadith that I remember from my youth. This hadith, since becoming aware of everything that's going on in the West specifically, I have noticed many religious clerics and many scholars changing the meaning of this hadith in attempts to defend it. I was taught this hadith in the madrasa in Saudi Arabia, and I was taught it the way it was intended, which is to denigrate women, because that's what Islam does to us. It either puts us below, behind, or it simply erases us. The hadith was narrated by Abu Huraira, who said, "The Messenger of Allah said, prayer is interrupted by a woman, a donkey, and a dog. But something like the back of a saddle protects against that. That, like, if you don't want to void your prayer, in case a woman, a donkey, or a dog pass in front of you, this is how you protect yourself." This was narrated by Muslim. I'm not going to say anything about this hadith. I think it speaks for itself. You don't need me to interpret it for you, so some religious cleric moron can tell you that, oh, she took it out of context. When prayer calls, in Muslim majority countries, like Saudi Arabia, when prayer calls, everything shuts down. Prayer calls 5 times a day, by the way. So when everything shuts down, nobody is supposed to be in the street. No man, no woman is allowed to be seen walking the street. You're supposed to answer the call of prayer. So the religious police enforce all this. And anyone who doesn't respond to the call of prayer is pulled by the religious police and thrown in jail. The irony here is, as the religious police is beating the crap out of everyone, or jailing them, making sure that they pray, they themselves aren't praying. The hypocrisy of all of this. So that's what I was trying to make a point of, is that you're not allowed to be outside even during prayer. When I was a girl living in Saudi Arabia, when prayer called and I would be shopping or something, the religious police the mob would enter the shopping center and chase everyone. So what I would do, because I didn't want to pray, I would hide in the washroom. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine, like, being raided? You're not doing anything wrong, you're just shopping, and having to hide in the bathroom in fear for your life from the religious authorities if they catch me. I remember the other thing. Sometimes I couldn't hide. And because I didn't want to pray, the religious authorities, this would be like a mob of 6 men approaching little me, yelling at me, "Why aren't you praying?" I would have to answer them in public in front of everyone that I was on my period. And that's why I wasn't praying. This is what Islam does to women. Okie dokie, sorry. So, I wanted to tell you that there's a pledge that I have helped spread the message on. This pledge is linked in the description, the website you will find, as well as the link in the website to download the PDF form of this pledge. The website is www.noislamistpledge.com. Again, www.noislamistpledge.com. Please go to this website, click on the link, download the PDF, print multiple copies of it, keep it right next to your door. We are in election time. They will come knocking. Present this pledge to every person who is asking for a donation or asking for your vote. This pledge is going to be your guide, and it's going to be their litmus test. Thank you.